in words, in actions, and all these levels you must maintain. What is chastity of thought? Don't entertain any kind of ugly thoughts or bad thoughts in your mind consciously. Replace them with good thoughts. Read books. By that way, good thoughts are fed into the mind. When you speak, don't speak harmful words or words that excite passion, etc. No more such things. No more joking about the life. Take it seriously. Be careful about what you speak. That means by maintaining your watchfulness, you will be able to maintain chastity in speaking. Speak what is needed. Speak what is essential. And then comes deeds. How you act upon, how you behave in the surroundings, in the family, in the home, outside, inside, everywhere. How do you behave? You have to maintain chastity there also. That means you must be constantly thinking about purity and noble ideas in the mind. That's the way, that's one of the way to maintain the chastity. So, maintenance of chastity is very essential to make the mind really strong. Why the stress is given like this? Because it is well-known fact that this world where we are all living is full of tremendous distractions. What type of distractions? Which arouse your passions. Which make you crazy for the sensual pleasures. So, the warning is given. What is that? Please note that the mind is in constant danger of becoming polluted. Little carelessness means mind is dipped into lake of pollution. So it's very important that you should engage your mind in thinking good thoughts, studying good books every day. You must read some book which inspires your spiritual ideas, which take you onward in your spiritual journey. What is spiritual journey? It is nothing but journey from imperfection to perfection, from peacelessness to peace. So, engage your mind in thinking good thoughts, studying good books, and discussing uplifting subjects. Discussion. It clarifies many things, keeps you cheerful. Discussion. Uplifting subjects, that's important. So, they give the method also. The Mahatmas have taken all the trouble to see how you can improve in your life. They tell you, spend your time in worship of God. In service to holy men and in contemplation. So all these things are possible only when you are very firm. Firmness. You will have to be firm in your vow of chastity. Then only you will be able to experience spiritual truths which is beyond the reach of the senses. You will not overcome by lust and anger anymore if you are firm. Passions seem trivial to you. When you become well established in chastity, you will begin to see the expression of God. Swami Brahmananji, a great spiritual disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he said, devote yourself to the practice of japam, that is repetition of the divine name, which helps you to practice continence. Then finally he says, well, do you want to know the secret of success? The secret of success is continence. So, Sri Ramakrishna has said in page number 490 of the Gospel, without chastity one cannot assimilate the teachings. That's why you find the world is full of spiritual teachings. It is not in dearth of teachings. But still the world remains as it is because people are not practicing chastity. That's the reason. Now, second important point, Sri Ramakrishna has said, I am concluding the chapter 20, though I am reading chapter 21. Just today I am concluding chapter 20, and next Tuesday I will be speaking on some of the points in chapter 21. So Sri Ramakrishna said, be on your guard. Be on your guard even now. Even now. That means whatever might have happened up to this point, don't worry about that. That's the meaning. Sri Ramakrishna is assuring you, don't worry about how you lived, how you were. Don't bother yourself anymore. By botheration, you're not solving it. Don't make it complicated by thinking over and over again the same thing. I did like this, I did like that, this, that. What is the use? Be on your guard even now. Try to build up your life. Let the resolve be made from today onwards. I will be following the teachings strictly. That means you must guard your thoughts as an alert watchman guards the treasury. His eyes are always on the treasury so that no thief can come and steal away the wealth. Like that you have to be on guard on your thinking. Why? Because life is an interplay of thoughts. Last Sunday I spoke on the power of thought. Life is an interplay of thoughts. Suppose you pour the molten gold into a crucible. It assumes the shape of the crucible. Even so, the mind assumes the form of the object which it pervades. The mind assumes the shape of any object it intensely thinks upon. If it thinks of an apple, it assumes the shape of an apple. If it thinks of Lord Krishna, it assumes the form of Lord Krishna. When I think of Sri Ramakrishna, immediately Sri Ramakrishna form appears in my mind. So you must train the mind properly. Give the mind proper sattvic food for assimilation. We should have a sattvic background of thought or mental image. The same thoughts which are entertained by the man during the day occupy his mind during dream also. If you have purity and concentration, you can make the mind assume any attitude you like. If you think of mercy, think of Buddha. How merciful. What great person. By dwelling yourself on that wonderful quality of mercy manifested by Buddha, your whole being will be saturated with that quality of mercy. If you think of peace, the whole being will be pervaded with peace. So when the mind is free from thoughts, or when you rise the mind from all the thought waves, you will have the glimpse of peace. So it is the mental attitude that determines the nature of an action and brings its fruits. To give an example, you may embrace your mother, you may embrace your sister or your wife or husband, whatever it might be. The action is the same. Act of embracing is the same. But the mental attitude is different. Though outwardly it looks same act, embracing, sister, mother, wife. But the attitude in each case is different. So, mental attitude, that's very, very important point which we should note. So, all about spirituality you can understand only when you properly handle the mind. Handling the mind is very important. One day, after a long time, I saw a gentleman coming to the chapel. I just asked him, how is it? I didn't see you for a long time. The answer he gave was, my wife is not coming, so I was not coming. That means he is coming for the sake of his wife, not for the sake of temple or Sri Ramakrishna. And I didn't tell him, but I felt that way. I just smiled within my heart. His action depends upon how his wife thinks, how his wife feels, how his wife does things, etc. That means he has lost his mental power completely. What do you mean by temporary? It is nothing but your desire to enjoy the world. That's all. So, what these devastating attractions do, they empower you, they devour you. How? By rousing passions and make you mad about them. Like addiction. You become addicted to the things of the world. So, in this situation, the mind is in constant danger of becoming contaminated. It is already contaminated. How difficult it is once it is contaminated, how difficult it is to free the mind from all contamination. Tremendously difficult. But what's to be done? So that is why the holy men always tell you, think always good thoughts, study selective good books, and discuss the uplifting subjects. This will help you immensely to keep the mind in proper shape. To keep the mind in proper shape. One devotee was coming to the ashram. He is coming even now also. He is coming here with the idea of attending the class. It so happened, I generally go to my room through this bookstore stair. That day, somehow, I went in another staircase, through the other stairway. I was stunned to see that devotee who was supposed to attend the class was just idling his time, seeing the dirty TV there. Up to 9 o'clock he was here. Probably he might be enjoying the TV. I just observed it and decided to tell him. Next time when he came, I told, look, you are coming to the temple, is it not? Why do you waste your time? To see the TV, you have got TV in your home. To see the TV, you are coming from your home 1 hour, traveling by bus or whatever it is, staying here another 1 or 2 hours, then going back 1 hour. That means you are spending 4 hours. Are you thinking seriously about what really is happening to your mind? I told him, I just told him directly now, don't go there anymore to see the TV. Go to the class, sit there. Of course he did realize the mistake also. See, some people, they won't realize unless it is pointed out by a person. Now, why I am giving this example is, people don't give importance to what they do, but they want the best result. So, is it a joke to keep the mind in proper shape? So, Sri Ramakrishna suggests worship of God, service to holy men, and meditation. These are very, very, very necessary. Open your heart to God. Open your heart to God. That means get rid of all crookedness in your heart. Then you will see how God will guide you along the right path. So there is nothing more purifying than His divine name and meditation upon Him. That's why we always say, have definiteness in what you want to do. Have definiteness. That's why we say, this is the method you must follow and this is the way you should go. Whenever undesirable thoughts or distractions enter your mind, they do enter, and try to crowd in, you must turn the mind towards God and pray earnestly, "O Lord, please make me pure." Let not these disturbing thoughts, these distractions, let them not cause any problem. At that point of time, pray more earnestly, willingly. If you live with pure thoughts, no evil can touch you. No evil can touch you if you live with pure thoughts. The way to live with pure thoughts is to remember the divine name all the time. God's vision is possible only through God's grace. So our immediate target should be how to get that grace. One point is very clear. In one sense, God's grace is conditional. How? As long as the mud of lust and gold stains the mind, it is difficult to get God's grace. The mud, M-U-D, of lust and gold. So long as a needle is covered with mud, it is not attracted to the magnet. But when the mud has been washed away, the needle is naturally drawn towards the magnet. What a fine example Sri Ramakrishna has given. So, wash away the mud. How to do it? Think of God. Meditate on Him. Pray to Him with a yearning heart. By these ways, the mud of the mind is washed away. Do that cleaning job, then you will see how God's grace works on you. At once the magnet of God attracts the needle of man's mind to Him. And the mind becomes pure, then the divine grace begins to flow. Through this divine grace, God is revealed. And Sri Ramakrishna has explained this nicely. The mind that is affected by the disease of the world, it's a disease actually. If the mind becomes occupied with worldliness, it is like a matchstick that is wet. Can you light that match? However you may try, you can't, because if it is wet, you can't ignite, however you may try. A pure mind is like a dry matchstick. Pure mind is like a dry matchstick. It ignites the moment you strike it. So, another way Sri Ramakrishna is suggesting, always feel that you are pure. I am pure, pure, pure. Keep on feeding yourself with that idea. I am pure, I am pure, I am pure. Instead of condemning yourself, I am a sinner, I am a sinner. Think in the opposite way. I am pure, I am pure. The purity, the thinking of purity itself will burn the impurities. Constantly, if you think of purity, that acts like a fire, blazing fire. It burns all the dirty impressions of the mind. Goodness and purity must flow through every word you utter, every action you perform, through all your behavior and movements. These are the steps to be taken. When you do that, then you will see the beauty of it. Because God's home is in the heart of the pure. So, from this standpoint of view, purity is strength, purity is God. The pure portion in you, the pure portion in you is God Himself. It is selfishness that is impure. So, the importance of doing one's duties. Doing your duties properly, you will be able to purify the mind. With that purified mind, you must contemplate, meditate on God, pray to God. With that purified mind, you must love God. Then you will get His grace and you will get His darshan. With these words, I conclude my comments. He is no more bothered about the worldly affairs. He has become fully aware of what is to be done and how he should go. So, every moment of the time he is very watchful and practices with all seriousness. People immersed in worldliness, that is, who are too ambitious in the worldly things, they don't hear that sound. They can't hear this pranava sound. So the yogi alone knows that this sound originates both from his navel and from the Supreme Brahman resting on the ocean of milk. There is a conception, the Lord lays on the ocean of milk. Ocean of milk, Ksheerasagar, is also called the ocean of the great cause. Great cause, Mahakaran, great cause. So Om is a great mantra. Mantra means repetition of particular words or names constantly removes all the difficulties and troubles and sufferings. And paves the way towards the goal of bliss. So, that's why all the Mahatmas of all the religions, they repeat the divine name. In some form or other, they tell you to repeat. In Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Maharshi has said, Tad japas tadartha bhavanam. That is, when you are repeating the divine name, you are fully conscious that you are uttering the name of God, who is all blissful, who removes all sufferings. So while repeating the mantra, you must reflect upon the meaning. When in the beginning you try to repeat the mantra constantly for a number of times, though mechanically, keep on repeating it number of times, zealously, becomes a habit. Then, just as we are breathing involuntarily, in the same way mantra goes on involuntarily in your system. That means you are well qualified for the stage. Now, when the mantra is being uttered involuntarily, now the stage has come to you to dwell upon the content, the meaning, the substance of the mantra. That means your whole mind should be concentrated on the substance. At the same time, the repetition of the mantra goes on because you have already made a continuous effort to keep on constantly repeating it, so it has become involuntary, so you don't have to bother about that anymore. It goes on. In fact, it helps you. It helps you as a protecting shield. No other thoughts would interfere, would come when you are concentrating, meditating on the substance of the mantra which you are repeating constantly. Now, what does this Om means? It has been very nicely described by the Upanishads. There is one Upanishad called Mandukya Upanishad. It completely deals with this Om very thoroughly. Well, Om means it is an excellent boat to cross the ocean of worldly existence. If you really want to get out of this mess of the world, go and sit in the boat of Om. Hold on to the mantra of Om. You must go and hold on. That's important. Holding is very important. This Omkara is called Pranava. Pra means Prakriti, the divine power manifesting the whole creation in different ways, in infinite ways. Can anybody tell how many forms of energy? Nobody can say. Every day people make research and come at new form of energy. Same energy appearing in different ways. So Mahashakti, Prakriti is the Mahashakti. To run this great universe, that Mahashakti is required. Without that supreme power, how can you expect the universe to go this way, to run? So Prakriti is the basis out of which the world has evolved. Nava means Pranavam. Nava means boat. Navam, Varam, Navam. Varam means excellent. So Pranavam means excellent boat of Prakriti. So that means you must propitiate Prakriti. You must propitiate Shakti. Pranava has got another meaning too. It also means that which leads to salvation, that which makes you free from bondage. It also means that which leads you towards a new type of knowledge. Hitherto that knowledge was not known to you at all. Now you have been exposed to that new knowledge, the knowledge of the pure soul. It's very subtle form of knowledge. not the gross knowledge which we are very familiar with, the knowledge of the world and all sorts of things here. Now, Om, the end means All the sounds, they culminate finally in M. Om. 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 The merge in M. That means pranava, when you constantly repeat, it is the union of Shiva and Shakti are indicated by M. Shiva and Shakti, Purusha, Prakriti. They just get merged into M, Bindu. Shivam, Shiva Shakti. So mantra also helps you to keep the mind steady. If you are not repeating the mantra, it only shows that you are not steady. To make the mind steady, you must struggle to repeat the mantra. It follows that. When the mind becomes steady, repetition of the mantra, it produces the proper effect. When you repeat more than once, it's called japa. Japa yoga means communion with God through the repetition of His divine name given by the Guru. So, when you are constantly repeating the mantra, part of the mind gets linked to that. It gets connected. The connection is important. You have to connect the mind. Connecting the mind. Everything has got a stage. For most of us, the connection itself has not been made. When the connection is made, then only the current flows. So what will happen when you repeat mantra? This body becomes mantra maya. Now, before repeating the mantra, what is this body now? It is mamsa maya, full of flesh. Full of flesh. This body is nothing but flesh and flesh. But when you keep on repeating the mantra, it becomes full of the mantra. That mantra occupies totally your inner body. That means your body gets transformed into the form of mantra. And then that body becomes qualified to be used for spiritual purposes. They give an example. Suppose there is a pot of clay. I think you know how to prepare the clay, how the potter makes the clay. He takes the clay and puts some water, makes wet and makes pasty, and then he casts it into a particular mold. Then he bakes it, he burns it, then you will get a wonderful pot, whatever shape the clay was put into cast, molding. Now, the pot of clay, before baking, before burning it, is of no use. You can't use that clay in the shape of pot which is not burnt. You can't use it for any purpose. It breaks down because it is wet. That means the pot becomes useful only after it is baked. It's a very important point. Now, another important point is here which we should note. So there is a pot which is not baked. Suppose it is broken. You can make another pot using the same clay. You again mix it up nicely, make a paste and cast it into the mold, whatever shape you want, you will get it. But you can't do the same thing if it were baked one. Suppose the baked one is broken, you can't again make the same broken pieces into another pot. You can't make it because already burned. In the same way, this our Annamaya Sharira, this body of flesh, Mamsamaya Sharira, it is gone, again it comes up. But if the body is completely consecrated by the repetition of the mantra, then it becomes like baked pot. Then you can't make the body come again. So, these 2 points you have to remember always. So the spiritual aspirant, what does he do? By constantly practicing japa, his body becomes full of mantra, completely occupied by mantra. When once he reaches that stage, that is the stage of baked pot, he is no more born. This question of birth and death vanishes completely. He is freed thoroughly, freed completely from all bondage. Because he is totally free from bondage, he is ever blissful. So, When he constantly repeats the mantra and his whole body is just dipped totally in the mantra, then when the soul leaves the body, nothing to bother anymore. It doesn't have to come again and take the body at all. There are two types of liberation. Two types. One is called Sadhyo Mukti. By following the path of knowledge. For example, Shankaracharya has given many texts on Advaita, how to arrive at the knowledge of the self, how to know who am I, how to know that Brahman. He gives the path of knowledge. Well, this is the way you have to go. That means he constantly discriminates between what is true, what is not true, what is changing, what is not changing. And when he is convinced about the things which are continually changing, which belong to the category of non-self, anatma, they say. Suppose you take a coconut, the external shell, just to give an analogy, that's anatma, that is not the kernel. That's only a shell. Kernel is inside. So that shell, you simply throw it away. So, it is just like that. The jnani, the man who pursues the path of knowledge, when he comes to know the things which are not real, which are continually changing, they are like shell. They are simply thrown away. That means he rejects them. He is no more interested in them. He is no more associated with them. He doesn't want to be associated with them. He doesn't want to turn towards them anymore. That means he is freed from all the effects of the world because of his disconnection with non-self things. And when he is well established in that way, he is liberated. The sign of liberation is he is ever blissful, excellent face, cheerful, always happy, beaming with joy. So though he is in the body, though he is in this world, though he is moving and walking and doing things in the way which we do, his appearance itself is extraordinary, his actions extraordinary, everything extraordinary about him, because he has become totally spiritual. So he has been liberated already. He has realized the truth. He has separated himself, the kernel and the shell. That's called Sadhyo Mukti. That's also called as Jivan Mukti. Shankaracharya calls it. There's another type of mukti, liberation. Liberation means bliss. Don't forget that. Liberation means bliss, blissful state. always to be joyful. That is called mukti. Now the other type of mukti is krama mukti. Krama mukti. That is, you have to get into that state by following the path of worship. Upasana marga. Upasana. You engage yourself in such activities as worship, again and again concentrating on the deity. So, again and again tries to sit in front of the chosen deity, and he is in that process. Then suppose he dies. He has not reached the goal, but he dies. What will happen to him? Nothing to worry. Whatever is done is not undone. It is to his credit. The upasana, if he has done thoroughly, intentionally, he wanted it, so he did it. If you go in that way, even after you leave the body, you are not to be worried at all about what will happen to you. You will go to the special region. Special region. It's just as there are so many places, even in this world also. You go to a particular place, you will have particular type of environment, surrounding, situation, reactions, everything, effect, everything. Is it not? In the same way, the universe is so vast. Don't think this small world is the only world. If you think like it's like a frog in the well, the frog in the well thinks, oh, my well is the ocean. So what these spiritual masters say, don't think this is only small, the world is only this much. The creation is infinite, because God is infinite, everything is infinite. So there's a particular region, this man, this particular person, man or woman, whatever it is, whoever worships it goes to that region. Goes to that region. By the power of the divine, he is led, he is literally led into that region. Then what happens? There he is illumined with knowledge. Then he gets liberated. That means he is not getting liberation while in this very life, but he got it only after he left his body. That is called krama mukti. But if you want to have that experience right now, you can have it, but you have to follow the path of knowledge. Or your mind must be thoroughly purified to that extent to have that experience. So this requires control of senses, elimination of manas, constantly repeating Om. He attains the abode of Brahman. That's the beauty of the mantra. So, whatever the mantra you have received, it is supremely efficacious, supremely sacred. So, with all earnestness, with all humbleness, with all zealousness, practice it. Don't think of anything else. Don't complain, oh, nothing happened to me, this, that, etc. Stop grumbling. Start doing. Not 5 times, 10 times, 10 minutes. To make that effort, you require a lot of strength. That means you must maintain your physical health, your mental health. If your body is sick, if the mind is sick, what practice can you do? Even sleeping you can't do, let alone practicing. Even you can't sleep. So, you must take all care about yourself. Somebody asked Sri Ramakrishna, what's the nature of the life after death? Sri Ramakrishna replied, well, as long as a person remains ignorant. What's the meaning of ignorance? As long as he has not realized God, as long as he is not aspiring for God, as long as he has not developed faith in the presence of God, so long will he be born again and again. He must have left this body, again he will take another body, again come back. Where do you go? Come on. So you'll be pushed from one place to another place. You are thrown like this. Go this way, there you go. Go that way, go this way. So throwing, go on, circling without end. That is called bondage. That is called ignorance. If you don't turn to God, there is no way of getting rid of sufferings in the world. But after attaining knowledge, you will not have to come back to this earth or to any other plane of existence. Because that question doesn't arise to you. Why should I come again? What for? What for I should come? If I had some desire, I want to do this, come and do it. Suppose I don't want to do it, I don't go. Suppose I want some article in a shop, I will go to the particular shop and get it. Suppose I don't want that, I don't go to the shop. In the same way, why we take body? Because we want to do we want to do certain things. So because we have got so many desires and we want to run after the desires and we want this, we want that, and this plus that, that plus this, goes on. Very good. That's all the embodiment of all religions. Let us pray to Him to remove all our ignorance. To show His grace so that we may have the vision of God in this very life. Sri Ramakrishna has come with the sole purpose of showing the methodology to achieve the supreme goal of life, to have that vision of God in this very life, to enjoy peace and bliss. So, Vivekananda calls Sri Ramakrishna as the Supreme Incarnation, because he has come to satisfy all people, to give relief to the whole humanity. Incarnation is that Paramatman himself taking the human form to set a model and lead us towards the goal. He is not bound by the doctrine of karma, through which ordinarily we are all bound, we are all guided by the rule of cause and effect. But the Paramatman comes in the human form. It requires certain frame of mind to function. So he entertains some desires. Without desires, one cannot sustain the life. So, in order to be on this plane of consciousness, the incarnation comes with covering of Maya, his own power. And he behaves like human being in every respect. At the same time, he is fully aware, he is divine. Ordinary saints and holy people here and there should not be equated with the incarnation. Small rivers cannot be equated with the ocean. There is a lot of difference between small rivers and big rivers, and much more difference between big rivers and the ocean itself. Incarnation is that ocean. So let us have clear-cut idea about the significance of an incarnation, then you will have the full benefit of their teachings. It will inspire you to the maximum extent because it is given by Paramatma himself in human form, living the life of a human being. So, there should not be much difficulty in the way at all. The difficulty comes only when you are not taking the mind along with you. The real difficulty lies there. Once you are able to take the mind with you, once the mind wants to come with you, then most of your difficulties are solved. So Sri Ramakrishna tells you clearly to have a thorough control over the mind. Not half and half. Full control. Then only you can make a U-turn. Otherwise you can't make a U-turn. Sri Ramakrishna was telling one of the devotees, his name was Ramakrishna. He was little inclined towards the path of knowledge. So Sri Ramakrishna is giving very important points regarding knowledge. What is knowledge? What is superior knowledge? That is, in Sanskrit, ordinarily the knowledge is called jnana. The special knowledge is called vijnana. Sri Ramakrishna is giving this new idea of distinguishing jnana and vijnana, knowledge and special knowledge. What is jnana? What is knowledge? It is the realization of your own spirit through the process of not this, not this. That means you're consciously discriminating every moment of your life about the reality of the thing. Is it real? No. Is this real? No. Is this real? No. So when you say no, that means you must reject what is discarded. The more you follow the process of not this consciously, willingly, then you go closer and closer towards your own true spirit. This process has to be pursued steadily, without any break. Anything that comes, immediately discriminate and discard it. When you are able to have this kind of sharp discrimination, then you become so close to your own true self, you go into samadhi. And in the samadhi state, you will realize what you are. That's the knowledge. It is like this. Do you want that? If you want, be ready to discard anything that comes on your way. Be strong in your spiritual setting. But vijnana means knowledge with greater fullness. Sri Ramakrishna says. He gives an example. Some have heard of milk, some have seen milk, and some have drunk milk. That means here there are three categories of people. Those who have merely heard of milk are classified as ignorant. Just they have heard. They don't have the knowledge of what they have heard. So they are ignorant. There are some who have not only heard it, but they have seen it. When they have seen it, it is jnana. It is knowledge. It is not that simply I heard about milk, I am seeing how milk is. So that explains the process of jnana. But there's another category, those who have drunk the milk. They have not only heard, they have not only seen, but they have drunk. After having drunk the milk, they have got the full knowledge of what milk means, what milk is, how it tastes, how it nourishes, etc. That is vijnana. Fine classification. That means not simply seeing God, you must talk to Him. As if He were your own very close relative. When you are able to communicate with Him, with the Paramatma, with your own self it may be, but then since you are having the duality, you are existing separately, you are retaining your ego, individuality, so you are seeing, you are enjoying the beauty of God, and then you are able to talk to him, communicate with him. When you are able to do that, that is vijnana. And Sri Ramakrishna's life itself will give you all these different stages how Sri Ramakrishna has reached with all these stages. So he is able to give clearly about this. But it's all right. It's true. We have heard. Sri Ramakrishna has classified what is jnana, what is vijnana, etc. It means you have to put forth a lion's strength to secure the knowledge of the self. Nothing can be achieved without diligence, without self-exertion. You have to exert. That means you have to prepare well for that special spiritual discipline. Because you will know shortly through your ordinary life that there is no contentment in whatsoever